Okay, so Anishka, lines and angles is a very small topic. First in lines and angles is there are a lot of angles which get formed in between two parallel lines when two parallel lines are cut by another, like a third line, right? So a lot of angles get formed, so we'll be doing that. But before that, we'll see what types of angles we have in one line and in two lines, when we have two lines intersecting like this. So Anishka, when we have just one line, so this is a line, you should know that the angle in a line which is called a straight angle, do you know what's the measure of this straight angle?
180.
180. So that's one thing that you should know. So this angle will be always 180. Okay, then now what happens if, let me move it below. Now what happens if I take this line and I divide this line in two parts by drawing another line? So you should know that the straight angle will still remain the same, right? So this angle will be still 180, but now it's been divided in two angles, right? So if you have this one, now I'm removing this, now you have this angle and this one. Okay, so these two angles form something called as linear pair. Okay, they are called linear pair because linear means that they are on a line, and pair because there are two sets of angles. Okay, and if this one is x, this one is y, then what will be measure of angle x plus measure of angle y? Hello?
You cut off.
Oh, I said that if the line is divided into two angles, then what will be the measure of this angle plus the measure of this angle?
180.
180. So this, because the total angle is still 180, it's just that we have divided that total angle into two different angles, right? So, and these two are called linear pair. Okay, now what you can also have is you could have the same line now divided in three different angles, right? Then if this one is x, then this one is y, and this one is z. X, y, z. Now what will be the sum of measure of angle x, y and z?
180.
Again 180. So angle x, angle y and angle z, it's going to be still 180. And then the next pair of angles, they are called, now when you see two lines intersecting with each other, okay, whenever you will have two lines intersecting with each other, then you would see this pair, this one and this one. These ones are called vertically opposite angles. Are you familiar with this? Vertically opposite angles?
Yeah.
Yeah. At some places, they are also referred to as just vertical angles. So VOA or just VA, vertical angles. And these two will be congruent. Okay. So if this one is angle 1, if this one is angle 2, then your angle 1 will be congruent to angle 2. Similarly, there will be one more pair, a pair of obtuse angles. it will always happen that one of them will be obtuse pair, one of the pairs will be a pair of acute angles. Now if this one is 3 and this one is 4, then these two will be also congruent. So angle 3 will be congruent to angle 4. When I say that they'll be congruent, that means their measures will be equal. So measure of angle 1 will be equal to measure of angle 2, measure of angle 3 will be equal to measure of angle 4. Okay. Okay, so these are some pairs. Then there are again two types of angles which are called supplementary angles and complementary angles. Okay, supplementary and complementary. Now these ones, they are not necessarily supposed to be observed between lines or anything. You could be straight away given this information that there are two angles which are complementary. So whenever you have this information that two angles are complementary, then that would mean that they will add up to 90 degrees. Okay, add to 90 degrees. So complementary means they will add to 90 degrees, and supplementary angles would add to 180. Okay, and do not get confused between these two terms. I have seen a lot of students, they get confused between supplementary and complementary. Complementary will be 90, supplementary will be 180. Okay, Anishka? Okay, so this is lines and angles. Now we will include parallel lines. Now let's see what happens when we have parallel lines. So we have, let's say this is one line, this is another line, and these two are parallel. These two arrows, whenever you see these two arrows in any figure, just understand that these two lines are parallel. And let's say that these two lines are cut by a third line. Do you know the name of this third line? A line that cuts two parallel lines?
Transversal.
Transversal, yes. So this is a transversal. Now what happens when a transversal cuts two lines? You see there are 8 different angles which are forming, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay, now first, so again here there will be lot of pairs. Okay, so the first pair that we have to do is a pair of corresponding angles. Are you familiar with corresponding angles?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll give all of these angles some name. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Can you identify a pair or pairs of corresponding angles?
2 is corresponding with 6.
2 and 6. Okay.
And the one with 5.
1 and 5.
And then
2 and angle
4
6.
and 8 and 3 and 7.
Okay, so we have 4 pairs of corresponding angles here. 2 and 6, 1 and 5, 4 and 8, and 3 and 7. Now the thing with corresponding angles is that they are congruent. So each of these pairs, these are all congruent angles. Okay, so corresponding angles you know already. So you take one angle and you leave the adjacent one and you move to the next one. Then there is a pair of alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles. Do you know what are alternate interior angles?
Yeah,
Hmm.
they're on the outside.
Outside?
Oh, I mean inside.
Yes, they will be inside. There is another one which is called alternate exterior angles. They are outside. Okay, so can you spot a pair or pairs of alternate interior angles?
Uh, 4 and 6.
4 and 6 will be alternate interior angles. Any other pair?
3 and 5.
3 and 5. Now the thing with alternate interior angles is, again, they will be congruent, and you will spot alternate interior angles whenever you have a Z-shaped figure. Okay, so if you have a Z in which these two lines are parallel, then in this case you will spot the alternate interior angles, which will be this one and this one. Or if you see a reverse Z, so like its mirror image, if you see a Z like this, just a mirror image of the first Z, and if these two lines are parallel, then again you will spot alternate interior angles. Okay, and they will be congruent. Okay, then we have angles called alternate exterior angles. Alternate exterior angles. So if you saw interior angles were between the two parallel lines, and the exterior ones will be outside the two parallel lines. So can you spot the alternate exterior angles?
2 and 8.
2 and 8 and
1 and 7.
1 and 7. Yes, so 2 is congruent to 8 and 1 is congruent to 7. Then there is a final pair which is called angles on the same side of a transversal. Angles on the same side of the transversal. So for example, angle, which color should I take? Angle 3 and angle 6. They are on the same side, okay, and they are inside. So here angle 3, the relationship between these angles is that they will add up to 180. So angle 3 plus angle 6 will give us 180. Similarly, angle 4 and angle 5, they will also add up to 180. Angle 4 plus angle 5 will be also 180. Okay, Nishka?
Yeah.
So this is all about lines and angles. Let's do some practice questions based on this. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we have. Uh, this one is, you also have triangles here. Okay, let's do this. In the figure, line M is parallel to line N. What is the value of W?
Is it 170?
170, and why?
Because it's alternate interior. Oh no, it's corresponding.
Corresponding, yes. So option D will be correct. They are corresponding. Okay, let's take another one. I'm not taking questions on triangles, but in this assignment there will be questions of lines and angles and triangles as well. Okay, let's do this one. In the figure, line Q is parallel to line R and both lines are intersected by line S. If y is equal to 2x plus 8, what is the value of x? Here is y. First, you need to find out the value of y.
Is it 57?
57, yes. Okay, wait, let's do just a last one and then we'll do the question that you got wrong in probability. Triangles, do you remember triangles? Where the value of w, this is easy. I think most of the, yeah, this one is, you can do this. Okay, wait. In the figure shown, line R and S are parallel. Line M intersects both lines. If y is less than 65, which of the following must be true? Okay. So here we have y. And this one is x.
Is it B?
B. Wait.
Actually, wait, no. Yeah, B.
B. I'm just trying to find out its answer key. It's 20. Why don't I see? Yeah, B is correct.